This week, Peter has very kindly videoed some footage of where he happens to be, as I can't be with him. Hope you enjoy it.
Well, here we are on a very windy bank holiday on the Oxford Canal in Banbury. I'm on the towpath at the moment, but Bandoneon isn't, because for the first time since I've been on the boat, I'm in one of these places. On the other side of the canal here is Sovereign Wharf. This is a set of permanent moorings and a big tent there for doing work on boats, painting or repairs and out of the weather. A little way down, I've taken a canal side berth while I'm waiting for my appointment at Tooley's boatyard, which is a few hundred metres along from here, to get the boat going into their dry dock so we can have the bottom scraped and painted. You can probably see Bandoneon over on the other side. It's a bit quiet today because it is, as I say, very windy. Even if I wasn't in the mooring, I wouldn't be moving anywhere on a day like this. I've learnt my lesson. The wind forecast this afternoon is 40 plus miles an hour, and in those conditions a narrowboat just gets blown all over the place. You can see there we are, tied up along with a couple of other boats on this wooden jetty. And now I'll walk across and we'll have a look at what the wharf has got to offer, and I'll explain why I'm actually here. Here we are on the road entrance to Sovereign Wharf, and everything in the wharf is behind this gate. So when you take a berth here, you get a key to the gate, so everything behind there is secured. For example, poking around the corner there's Marianne's car, and that's one of the reasons I'm here, is because I'm looking after her car at the moment, and it means I can put it somewhere safe, and I know where it is. So now we're just going to go inside and have a look at what facilities you get when you pay for a mooring in a marina or a wharf. And now we're on the inside of the gate, so here is actually a little toilet. The other side of that there's an Elsan, and just beyond that are the bins. We'll be going round there in a moment because that's where the boat is. But these boats are on jetties that are at right angles to the canal, and the wharf carries on beyond that tent. There is a boat in there at the moment, the wet dock. Here we are with the Elsan and the bins and the bicycle rack, and along this nice gravel path there's a power point, and I have actually, for only the second time since I've had the boat, I've connected up my shoreline cable, because as with most marinas and wharfs, they don't like you to run the engine in here. So you can see the power is going into the socket on the back of the boat there for shore power, which means I've got permanent mains electricity at the moment. I still need the solar panels to charge the batteries, because the way my boat is wired, it doesn't charge the batteries when I'm on shore power. I need to make adjustments to that, or possibly buy a battery charger. We have this little wooden jetty we're tied up to, and just by the front of the boat there is another power point with two sockets, and just behind that, on that grey box, there's a water tap, so we have water as well. And so I can sit here secure and behind locked doors and with all the facilities laid on. We're back inside now, and Flan's come to get in the picture, as he always does. So, as you can see from the outside, I'm in Banbury, and for the first time in the 3 years I've been on the boat, I'm in a paid mooring. And so the reasons for that, well, first of all, the reason I'm in Banbury is on the 20th of this month I have a booking to go into the dry dock at Tooley's historic boatyard, a few hundred metres from here, and they're going to scrape the hull and reapply the bitumen blacking to the hull that needs doing every 3 years or so, and also check the state of the 6 magnesium alloy anodes I've got on the hull, which are there to prevent rusting in the steel, and replace any that need replacing. I'm here early because Marianne and I set off on the journey, and we were aiming to get here by the end of the school holidays so that she could be on the boat with me. As those of you who follow the channel will know, unfortunately we had an accident when we were at the cow roast lock on the summit of the Grand Union near Tring, and Marianne has been unable to continue. She's at home recuperating, but it was decided, we decided, that I would carry on anyway because oh, excuse me. Is that you? Is that your fur? Yes, because Marianne's car was parked in a side road back where we set out from at Denham, and I was anxious to collect the car, so I carried on quickly to get to Banbury, and then as soon as I got here I got the train back to Denham and brought the car up here. Marianne can't drive at the moment, and we don't know when she will be able to again, and so she decided it would perhaps be better if I kept the car with me, because it does mean that I can drive and visit her, whereas otherwise I would have to do it with trains and public transport. My only concern with that was finding a secure parking for the car, and where I was on the towpath by Spiceball Park in Banbury, there is a car park there, and I did park the car there for a while, but I was a little bit concerned that at night it looked very lonely. It was off of any main road, and so out of sight of anybody any casual passers-by, and so that was one of the reasons. The other thing is to sit here for 3 weeks or 3.5 weeks, I would need to move the boat at least once, because I would run into the 14-day mooring limit imposed by my continuous cruiser license conditions. I could go further down the canal to the other side of town, and then I would have to turn around, come back up, and then turn around again, because I can only get into Tooley's dry dock from the north. They made that clear when I made the booking. Tooley's has been here as long as the canal has, so it's well over 200 years. But the town has built up around it, and so it's all a little tight, and the only way to get in is to get into their dry dock is to approach from the north, because it's at an angle to the canal, but quite a shallow angle. There's no possibility to turn around if you're coming from the south. Also, of course, the usual things: water, rubbish disposal, LSAN. And so whilst I spoke to the people who run Sovereign Wharf about whether I could get water there, something they said caught my ear afterwards, and I emailed them and said, "Do you actually have a berth free?" And they said, "Yes, we can do that." So I'm in here now. It's turning out to be useful in other ways as well. Well, the first thing I noticed is after I cleaned the boat, I cleaned one side when I first arrived in town, and then when I got here, the other side of the boat was on on the jetty, so I was able to clean that. And I noticed afterwards there were bird droppings on the roof at one spot, and also on the jetty right where I step out of the boat. And I thought, oh, that's going to be a nuisance. But Ian, who runs the wharf, was walking by on first morning or so, and said, "Oh, have you noticed which branch the birds sit on when they're doing that?" And I said, "Well, not really, but we had a look." And he went and got a stepladder and some cutters and trimmed the trees above it. Well, it's a tall hedge, and trimmed it all back, and that's cured the bird droppings problem. It also turns out he's a qualified boat electrician, so a long-term job. You can see a paw hanging onto my chest there. That's Flan staking his claim. I just hope he's not going to pull a thread in this jumper when he pulls it away. Yes, so I can get a battery monitor, which I've had for a long time, and I've partially fitted, but I haven't done the final part because it involves a bit of heavy engineering that I don't really have the tools for. So while I'm here, Ian's going to do that for me. So I don't know if I'll be going into wharfs or marinas very often. Probably not. But in this case, it's solving a lot of problems all at once, like getting my second COVID vaccination, but also things like tomorrow where I'll be driving to visit Marianne. And that's why I'm in a wharf.
I hope you've enjoyed this week's video. I look forward to being able to get out there and taking my own footage, but I think you'll agree Peter did a sterling job this week. So until next week and next week's video, bye!